I stand by what the title says. Here comes all the ass car people to tell me that this isn't a sports car. It only has 200 horsepower. Maybe the sports car is the friends we made along the way. The 86 and BRZ is a lightweight, well, not after I get into it, low center of gravity, rear wheel drive, manual, and responsive handling car. So it's whatever category those characteristics put it in. Like, it wasn't made in mind for it to just take someone or something from point A to point B, like a Honda Odyssey or a Accord. The Audi RS6, dream car by the way, over 600 horsepower, 5,000 pounds, 8-speed automatic, all-wheel drive. Is that considered a sports car? Regardless, that isn't the point of this video. The point is, I've had this car for a little over a year now. It is my only car, my daily, so it has had to do everything from fitting Costco trips in the morning to Angeles Crest highway runs after midnight. I think I've had enough experience with this car to give you the facts so that if you're considering to get one, I got one or two zingers that might be enough to push you over the edge and just do it. Before getting this car, one thing that was really important to me was practicality, especially coming from a Volkswagen GTI. That thing was a hatch, so it worked in every scenario. I could go to Costco with 4 other people in the car and they would just put the rotisserie chicken on their lap. And that's my litmus test for practicality. If you could fit everything you buy at Costco in your car, then I would say it's pretty practical. So to replace my GTI, my go-to choices were the WRX, the GR Corolla, or one of the twins. I think the WRX and GR Corolla made the most sense in terms of equality, 4 doors, practical, manual, and performance-oriented. And I was really leaning and fighting to get the WRX, but in the end, I was kind of like, you know what? Practicality. Driving other people. I hate being the designated driver. And to me, I feel like the twins, the 86 and the BRZ, is the most unique out of the bunch I just mentioned. So when I finally decided that I was going to get a BRZ or 86, one thing that really bugged me or in the back of my head was like, would this be a good daily car? You know how some people have like a fun weekend car and on the daily it's like a more boring, normal commuter car? Why not just make the fun car your daily? I'm here to convince you that this is a great daily, even though it might not seem like it. If you're on the market and thinking about getting one or have concerns for whatever reason that it doesn't work out, hopefully the rest of this video can convince you otherwise. And once again, it is still hot as here in SoCal. Even in this garage parking structure with the sun going down, I've been sweating this whole time shooting this intro, so I am doing the rest of this video back home. This car is actually pretty practical, believe it or not. At least for me, because I don't have kids, so half the time it's just me driving alone anyways. And I know everybody has different definitions and needs of what practicality means. So here's my take on it. One of the biggest questions people have is the back seats. And I will say in a pinch, they do work. It can actually fit children pretty comfortably, or I guess a child-sized adult too. For my case specifically, because of my driver's seat position, no one can really sit behind me because there's no leg room. Or I guess if they want to sit cross-legged, they can. On the passenger side of the car, a small individual can sit in the back seat with another passenger in the front. But for more of an average sized adult sitting in the back, then the front passenger would have to push their seat a bit more up. In theory, this can be a 3-person car. It just depends on how much uncomfortability your passengers want to tolerate. But like I said earlier, most of the time it's just me driving anyways, and I like to keep it that way. That's why I fold my back seats down, so I have so much more trunk space. And also it's because if anybody's like, hey, can you be the designated driver? Can you drop me and my friend off? I can just hit them with that. My car only has 1 seat, so I can't. But to me, it's super practical with the back seats folded down because I have so much more trunk space now. I can fit an entire Costco trip, toilet paper, paper towels, paper and towels, rotisserie chickens. I can even fit 4 wheels in the back here. Can you do that in a Miata or an S2000? So in terms of storage space, I would say this is very practical. The only thing I do wish though is that this thing opened up like a hatch, like the Supra Civic Type R, because even though you do have all this trunk and interior space, the opening of the trunk is kind of small and low in height. Like when I was putting my wheels in the back, I had to stand them up vertically, but I couldn't go through the trunk, so I had to go through the front passenger side. And I guess it sounds kind of bad when I say I don't want to drive other people, but in an emergency, I will. But that's only if it's a true emergency. Like if Michael Myers is chasing us and it just so happened that it's just my car there that we have to use to get away, then I'm like, all right, fine. I guess I'll put the back seats back up and we can all get in this. To more of my surprise, this car is actually pretty comfortable in terms of seating position and driving long distances in it. Before getting this car, I was willing to accept the fact that this might not be the most comfortable car, especially compared to my last car, my GTI, because this is more performance oriented and I'll lose out on certain creature comforts. But I will say that given the creature that I still am pretty comfortable in this car, even though some amenities are removed. And this other creature I call Mom, she's pretty picky. I was like, all right, honest opinion, thoughts on comfortability with this car, and she was like, no, it's pretty good and cozy. I do have the limited trim, which is the higher trim in the Subaru ranking. So I do have the Alcantara or Ultra Suede, and I also do have the heated seats. Being that I thought I was going to be driving this through the harsh New York winters, I was like, heated seats is a must because I'm a little bit bougie. I've driven my BRZ on 8-hour road trips before, and I was perfectly comfortable, no aches or pains at all. I don't think I will ever switch out the seats for actual bucket seats or racing seats that I know a lot of people do. I will admit though, I've sat in the FL5 Type R seats and those feel way better. Some of the creature comforts you do lose out on that I mentioned earlier is that the seat adjustment is all manual, no electric, not powered at all, which I don't mind. I actually might even prefer that. And the passenger seat doesn't have height adjustment, just the driver. There also isn't any lumbar support for either seats. Like, yes, there is, but it's not adjustable. I've gotten used to getting in and out of this car smoothly because it does sit a bit lower than average. But I've had people that rode in this car for the first time and well, they struggled. So the comfort in this car is just my opinion, and for my body shape and size, if you are, are someone bigger or smaller, might differ from you. But I really like it, being that I'm 5'9" with shoes on and weigh like 230, pure muscle though. So that's just me to give you a reference. And I don't mind driving this car on long road trips. In fact, I actually might prefer it. Another topic that people love to bring up about this car is its performance. It needs more power, it needs a turbo, and to an extent, I do agree. Of course, I would love more power. I do miss the turbo feeling, but if you think about it from a business and marketing standpoint, if they did do that to this car, then would this car even still be under 35,000? To me, looking at it from my daily driving situation, given the power that it comes with, I think it works. It's fine. It's enough for me to overtake a Prius. It's enough for me to send it when merging onto a highway and get up to speed. And it's also enough that if I'm doing any sort of spirited driving, legally of course, that it's still enough for me to go fast and have fun with it. Because if you want to take this car purely for performance or track racing, then there's so many forced induction kits that you can put on it to get exactly what you need. So Subaru and Toyota just give you the base platform to go about it. Because I like to argue that majority of people that buy this car isn't purely for performance or track days. Most likely as a daily or even maybe a fun weekend car. And with that in mind, this car appeals to that scenario perfectly. So yes, I would also like to have more power in this car, but I wouldn't say it's a must-have. I wouldn't say that if you're considering this car, that having whatever power it has now, that's the thing that turns you away from getting it, because that shouldn't take away from all the other great characteristics of this car. In the future, I would like to put a supercharger on this, but not even for performance, just because I want to have the whine and just be a menace to society. One of the most important parts of driving a car, the interior. I really love this interior. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty close. I would say it's a good mix of modernization and actual practical usability. For one thing, I love that all the important parts are still physical buttons. For example, the climate control. All that is still a physical button, but you have little touches of modernization, like the temperature is digital. And the infotainment is Apple CarPlay and touchscreen. It's not overly barrenly big either. I don't like that some of the Audi and Volkswagen ones have the screen where it sticks up above the dash, like they had it as an afterthought, like, oh shit, we forgot to put a screen on it, let's just stick it on top. Everything in the BRZ is neatly placed and where it should be. And I'm also really glad that in the BRZ, the steering wheel controls are physical buttons, because one thing that really bothered me from getting the WRX was the infotainment is one big tablet. The instrument cluster is also a good compromise. It's actually like one screen in the middle for the tach and the gear display and your speed, and two smaller screens on the side for other information, so you can't like mix and match the displays. I will say that all the important things of the interior is neatly placed and works well and is where it should be. But I won't say I'm thrilled about certain creature comforts that are missing from this car. You get two cup holders in the middle, which apparently are actually supposed to be for the back seats. But if you put any drinks here at all. It's kind of a weird place to reach for when you want to take a drink or something when you're driving. And the lack of storage space is also kind of annoying. For example, a lot of cars have like a little cubby or something below the infotainment system, below the console, but for this one it's just nothing. So there really isn't a good place to like place your wallet, your keys, and other stuff in your pocket. Hence why I have this stupid car tray thing, so I can stay somewhat organized at least. There is one little bottle pocket in the door, and also I guess a little pocket thing for where the pull handle is for you to grab the door when you close it, but it's nothing impressive. If you do put a larger water bottle here, it kind of blocks your controls for the windows. And one thing that kind of irritates me is that there's only one 12-volt outlet, and it's deep in the back of the glove box. I mean, I guess to most people it doesn't really matter because everything these days are USB anyways, but for me, I have a radar detector which needs 12 volt, and then also I was trying to get this X-Force exhaust which has valves to control but needs power from a 12 volt. And if I'm being really picky, I do wish the USB ports were USB-C instead of USB-A, because this car did come out in 2022. And I know this is just me being really picky about the interior. I can already hear the comments, this car isn't made for that, if you want something more, go get a different car, yada yada yada. I get it. These are just my annoyances for my specific situation. And if you know all this about the car and it doesn't apply to you or it doesn't bother you, then that's good, you know? Get the car. But even with all that being said, I still love the rest of the 75% of the interior. So it's just something I wanted to let you know about if you were thinking of getting this car, but these things shouldn't turn you away from it. Like I said before, there's so many other great characteristics of this car. I've only had this car for a little over a year, and a good quarter of that year was me trying to learn to drive stick really well until it became second nature. I mean, I only have 11,000 miles on it. So I've had some experience with it, but I think I still have a long way to go. And these are some of the issues that I thought about a lot before committing to this car, which turned out to not even be issues at all, just overthinking. So if you are someone that has been on the fence about getting this car or in the process of doing research, hopefully this video gave you some things to think about and swayed you in one way or another, hopefully in the way of getting the car. Thank you for watching this video, especially if you've made it this far. Even if you are one of the f***ass people that say this isn't a sports car, to me, honestly, I don't really care what you call it. I know some people like to argue about that though. And if you have questions or comments, or if you have this car and know of fun tips and tricks, feel free to leave it in the comments below and I will try my best to get back to you. And if I don't know the answer, maybe somebody else can jump in and help out. And catch you outside, how about that? Or catch you in the next video.